Hi guys, a very good evening to all of you. Am I audible? Very good evening to all of you on the GoToMeeting and the YouTube Live. Yes. How are you guys? So, holidays are going to be, I think, started holidays in your colleges? Yeah, good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Last exam is on 29th December. Okay. Good evening, Rohit. Okay, fine. So, in today's session, fine, we shall complete JavaScript. Okay. I know it is a very fast and everything, but up to here, whatever we have discussed in this 11 classes, is there any doubt, guys? Is there any doubt? Because today we are going a little bit advanced in JavaScript. Today we are going to learn about fetch, how the data is coming from somewhere, and how you are dealing with that, and how you write those things, how you adapt to those data and show it on the screen. So that's what we are going to talk about today. Okay. Maybe it will take more time, or maybe it will be end on the time, same time. Okay. If the time remains, I will also teach you, or I will tell you about how the JavaScript is working behind the scene, because this is the interview's favorite question. How, what is call stack, what is heap? Although it will not take much of the time. Fine. Okay. So ready, guys, excited? No holidays. Fine. Uh, Holidays will come, don't worry. Now is the time to enjoy. Okay. Execution context. Okay, fine. We'll not discuss those things in very big detail. Just I'll tell you how everything is working. Okay, fine. Fine. Let's start with that. Okay, just one second. Just one second. Oh, okay. Okay, guys, fine. Till now, whatever we have learned, fine. Till now, whatever we have learned, those we have learned on the static data. Static data means what? The data is what we have created, very limit in size. Okay, data again. Data means what? The arrays. Whatever you have written inside an array, whatever you have written inside an object. Those are what data. Okay. And as you know that in the whole world is now running on data. Everything is a data. Instagram, it's your data. In that, what you have your profile, in that your photos. Those are a data for your social media, correct? That is a data for your social media. Then you have in the college, you have they will ask your roll number. If you go to admin department, they will ask your roll number and everything will come. Your 10th passing certificates, your 12th passing certificate, everything. That is also a data. So everything now, I think internet specific things are running on data. Although if it is not an internet specific thing, still it is running on data. Is it moving for you guys? Fine. Still it is running on data. Like if you go to the bank, fine, when internet was not there, in order to open your bank account, you have to give a history. Correct. Where are you earning? Something like that. That also data. Correct. But now when the internet come, the data popularity of the data reaching or what you call acceptance of the data has been very, very, very significant. Fine. So this real world web development also depends on the data. That's why if you search for, okay, let me write, search for, or if you learn web development, there is something called as a data analysis also come, data sets also come. Okay, that in our, if it is a MERN stack technology, fine. If it is what? A MERN stack technology, it is known as MongoDB. Fine. So if it is a MERN, MERN, MERN stack technology, so M over here refers to what? MongoDB. What is MongoDB? MongoDB is just a database with storing some data. Correct. It's just a database with storing some data, not in rows and columns, but in JSON format data. You must have heard of this word, SQL. What is this? This is the, again, it is also storing data, but in rows and columns or table formatted database. Correct. It's okay. First you study over here. Fine. One important topic is going on, Vijay. First you study over here. Later we'll decide whether you can give quiz one or not. Fine. Don't worry about these things. Okay. We'll discuss. Okay. Fine. So SQL. Fine. This all thing what it does is that help you to store data. Okay. Because storing of the data, fine. Now let me tell you a data, how a data is helping you over the web development. Fine. Over your web development, how everything is dependent on the data. Okay. Now suppose guys, have you seen a website, Zomato, Swiggy, Flipkart, Amazon, correct? You've all seen that. Okay. See, if I open an Amazon.com, fine, and if I search for mobiles, okay, if I search for mobiles, so many mobiles are coming. Correct. So many mobiles are coming. What do you think? Okay, my question is, what do you think? If suppose this mobile item is written inside a div container, is written inside a div container. This mobile also will be written inside a div container. Is all for means I want to ask, like for each and every mobile, will be having a div container. For each and every will we have a div container. Suppose you have 10,000 mobiles to show it on Amazon website. So 10,000 div block will be there. Or only one div block is there, and in that the data keep on changing. What do you want to write? One div block and the data keep on changing, or you have to write 10,000 of div blocks. It's better. It's better, no? We should write only one div block, and it is actually a 10,000 div block, but we have written only once. Correct. We will write only once, and we keep changing the datas on them. Fine. We keep changing the datas on that. That is a good approach, no? That is a good approach. Otherwise, 10,000 datas, next day, a new mobile launch. Next day, the developers has to start writing it. The data increased. Fine. And every day the data is increasing. And every day the data is increasing. Still, the website can take that data and show it without any second losing or crashing the website. That type of code we have to write. That is where the web development engineer comes. Fine. Where they have to write a minimalistic code and so that it should support that variety of data. For now, what we were learning static one, where we were creating the data 10, 12, 15 data, and then we were showing out on the screen. But now the data will be coming to you from somewhere, from some storage, from any different websites, from anywhere it can come. You have to write a code so that it accomplish or it add or it help to use those data and make a website out of that. Fine. And that those data can come in any format. Arrays, objects, normal string variables. It's your property or it's your job to use it. You want to use for loop, you use for loop. You want to use if else statement, you use it. That's why that those statements, that's why those DOM properties and everything you have learned. Because you have to write those code, you have to use the data and write those codes so that you build a website out of that. And you don't have to change it every time. That's the beauty. You don't have to change it every time. You have to write such a robust website code so that it whatever the data added or decreased or anything happens with the data, it still accomplish that data and make show you that website. Suppose in Netflix, guys, Netflix, you see now, in Netflix, what happened? So, some of the movies, so in the Netflix, what happened? Some of the movies, once you see it, after some times, maybe it vanished. But did some Netflix crash? No, never. You'll not see Netflix is getting crashed over here with one movies to remove. Yes, you can use PostgreSQL. So Gayatri, please shift to go YouTube, I guess. Understood, guys. Now okay, how datas are helping us to as a web developer, fine. Okay. Now, in order to get the data inside our web, see what happened actually is data are somewhere stored over here, right? In data centers or somewhere. Okay, website is on your browser, correct? Website is on your browser like this. Now, this needs to talk to this, talk to this database, and this needs to receive this data, correct? Receive this data. Now, in the see, this is what a screen where people are seeing it, where users are coming and seeing it. Fine. So here you cannot what you call so much data centric codes you will write. Here, so much data centric codes you don't have to write because it's a screen. Here, people are coming to do do something like filling the form, showing like ordering something. So many things people are coming for. So so where we okay where we should write the logic then? So in between, what you do in between, you write a backend. You write what? A backend. Where the logics of whatever is happening on the screen, logic of whatever is happening on the screen, you are writing that thing. Fine, you are writing that thing. So suppose if you submit a form, this is a front end. You submit the form, what happens? What happens? It goes to the backend with what? With what value? With something called as API. Fine. What will it do? This API, no. This API will hold those values, whatever you have entered in the screen. Whatever you have written inside the screen, that API is holding that value. After holding that value, after holding that value, it will go to the backend. Here, what it will do, here it will run that whatever the logic you have written with the backend, with that particular APIs, whatever the logic you have written, right? That logic it will start running it. And if it needs to contact with the database, the backend is there who is in always in the contact with the database, who is always in the contact of database. Now this database can be anything: MySQL, MongoDB, PostgreSQL, Oracle, fine. Then so many, whatever you okay, graph DB also, fine, whatever you like. They are indirectly in the contact with that. Now the logic specifies that we need to talk with the backend. Correct. Let's talk with the backend. Backend, when you talk with the backend, you're telling that okay, this is the form he wants to submit. Logic is written. Logic is written that submit this form inside the database. So it will submit the form inside the database. And in response, something it will send, okay, submission successful. And maybe it will return the data, okay, if this is the data what we have stored. So that we can see, okay, whatever the data has stored, that is correct. So it will receive that thing and okay, submission is completed. Fine. So over here, I will return the same thing that okay, submission is successful and this is your data. Correct. So this thing we have to do actually. Now, now in this between, just to tell you the taste of how the datas are coming, what we will do, simply this one we will use for third party. Means somebody has written the backend and they have what open, they have APIs. They have what APIs. Somebody has written the backend, they have APIs. Somebody has written the backend and somebody has written their database also, and everything has been done. From here, with the help of API, how we can contact and how we can get the data, That thing is we are what we are going to do. Understood? Now, is it clear what we are going to do? High musical vibes. Are you able to understand, like guys, what we are going to do now? We will write in the front end, correct? But we will use some third-party backend. From there, the communication will be our APIs. Okay. And let's see how we can handle the data which are coming from the APIs, how we can handle that. What, how JavaScript is helping us to handle that, and how we can show that data. Any doubt in this, guys? No one wants to reply. Boring. Boring it is. Okay. I think you people know that's why you are not replying. Fine. That's why I have opened this thing. Fine. That's why I have opened this thing of in web development, data, how what is the meaning of data in the web development? Fine. So in a web development, data refers to the raw fact, figures, content that website we use to function. Fine. Provided a personalized user experience, inform business decisions, means it is a fuel that powers online application. Correct. That's what I made you understand. Everything runs on the data. We need our website to run on the data. Correct. Suppose if you go to the Royal Enfield website, correct. Tomorrow, a new Royal Enfield bike comes out, Gorilla 650, like this. They need to be what? They only need to add the data of the Gorilla 650 and it should show inside the website. What data do they need to add? They need to add pictures, they need to add videos, they need to add all the engine specification, they need to add name of the bike. And it's a form. It's generally a form. That form will be saved, and hence that data will be saved inside their Royal Enfield database, whatever the database they are using. And within seconds it should show it on the screen. Okay. So in order to in order to talk with backend, we are using API. Now, how to handle those APIs inside JavaScript? So we are using fetch. Okay. Now, if I talk little bit about here the history, right? Fetch is one of the drastic changes or major changes came in the JavaScript. Before that, they were using Ajax calls. Okay, before that also they were handling these these type of datas. Right. One more thing before moving on to the fetch, guys. If some data is coming from some third party database, and others, will it take time? Just give me the answer. If a data, if a data is coming from some third party or your backend also, and it is going connecting with your database, then database is giving you output, then it is coming to the backend, and then you are getting it. Well, this process takes time. Okay. And now think there is something on the front end you have written, static data. Okay. And you are, with the help of array, you are taking that data. No need of backend, no need of database. Everything is written in your code base only. That will take time. That will also take time. No. So the first scenario where it is taking time, we handle with asynchronous operation, asynchronous JavaScript. It is fine. Asynchronous means it is not synchronous. It is not blocking the code. Okay, it is not going to block the code. That's how JavaScript is going to handle those type of data which is taking time to come. Fine, those type of functions which is taking time to execute, because fetching getting the data, we have to write a function. So those type of function which is getting time to get resolved or get executed, we will handle with them asynchronously. Means no, it should not block the code. It should not block the code, because you see, JavaScript is a single thread execution. Single thread means only one task at a time it can do. Only one task at a time. If you have written if you have written a function to calculate age and function to greet, so in both of them it could only do one. After completing of that one of the functions, it is moving on to the next function. It will move on to the next function. So single thread. You can read somewhere the JavaScript is a single thread. One. So if I use such kind of function which is taking time to complete, it is going to block the code. Yes or no? Yes. And if it is blocking my code, my website will crash because my function is not running. Website will crash, and functions are dependent on each other. Function will crash. Function crash, website crash. If a website is crashing, do you want to visit on that website? Until and unless it's a government website. Government website you have to visit. There is no choice. But if suppose I am Swiggy or Zomato, you order the food, fine, you done the payment. But in Zomato, I never received your order, and I never received your payment. That type of website, do you want to again go and book book a food, like order a food on that? Never. You don't want to do it again, because that is a very, very bad user experience, and website depends on user experience. That's why I'm telling we need to handle them asynchronously. Okay. And those data which are present on the website or which are present on your code base, those are instant. No need for them. Handle it asynchronously. So let's come to the history that before fetch, they were using XML HTTP request, AJAX calls. They were doing, they were writing callback functions. Callback function help you to write an asynchronous code. Yes, it helps you to write an asynchronous code or asynchronous function in JavaScript. Callback function means one function will call another function. That's how it really works. Fine. One function will call another function. That's how the callback function works. And since it will take time, so it does its operation in the background. It does not come on the JavaScript hole to run its operation. So before fetch, it was doing on the Ajax call, XML HTTP request, where we were using callback functions. So suppose a nested callback was, because again, if you see the complexity of website, there is much more complex, very complex websites are there. Mintra, Swiggy, Zomato, so many. So for that, you have to write so many asynchronous coding. Because at one time, if you see, if I suppose if I open Mintra, fine, I'll open Mintra, guys. Over here, you see what will happen. And fetch and XHR request is there. You see at a time how many requests it is making. At a time, how many requests? See, so many requests it is making. Not possible, correct? For a single thread engine which can run a function only at one time, not possible for them to run these many things. So that time we were that time callback inside a callback inside a callback inside a callback. This type of nested function is mandatory to write to such for such a heavy websites. So this actually was not, very difficult to write, and this led to one problem. It's called pyramid of doom, okay, or callback hell. Callback hell like this. See function. It's called pyramid of doom. And this function, can you tell me? Okay, not okay, fine. Let me go for the images. In this function, can you tell me whether it is you are able to debug it or not? Suppose you are a junior engineer, you have to write something inside this, add one more functionality, and your senior engineer gave you this. Will it easy for you to write any new functionalities over here? Very difficult, no? Correct? Very difficult because it a function is depending on a function. It's depend on one more function. Like this, it builds whole pyramid of do. So just to absolute that, just to remove this, what happened is that it came with a fetch API. Now what it does is that it's change in the syntax. Change in the syntax. We don't have to write that many callback inside a callback. This calling of a dependency of a function inside a function that fetch is doing for us. What we have to write? We have to write a single callback in order to tell what should be done in the website, what should be done. Just that thing you have to write. Other things it is taking care of. This fetch is taking care of. See here, fetch API provides a JavaScript interface for making an HTTP request and processing the response. It helps us to get the response. It helps us to make the HTTP request. We are not doing it manually now. Because when we did, it was XML HTTP request, and you see what it made of, what it made us to do, right? We need to use the we need to use the easy things, right? In order to increase the readability of code. That's the main point. Readability of code, so that if suppose, okay, one employee has done he will not use it, he will not what you call see it for all this 60, 70 years. Correct. Somebody else has to take care. Somebody else has to do the uplifting. So the website should not be dependent on a particular person. That's why readability of the code is very important. Correct. So this increase the readability. What do you want to know about callback, Kamal? Nothing. A function calling a function is callback. Fine. So the fetch function returns what I promised. Means I'm telling you. Since a function is taking time to execute, correct? So we need to give that information to the front end that okay, it is going to take time. Fine. So that thing is called promise. We are telling them, see, this is a function. It is going to take a time to execute. I promise you that it will execute in the future. That is what we are telling as a promise. Okay. So it is sending a promise means it is sending a promise means it is telling you in the future it is going to execute. Now you don't stop the execution. Fine. Now you don't stop the execution of other functions. Let's carry on those functions. And whenever this promise is resolved, means promise has two things only to do. Fine. Promise has only two things it can do. Either it can be resolved. Resolved means you are getting the data. Resolved. Fine. You are getting the data, or it can be rejected. You will not get the data. Means some error you have written or something. API not be corrected, API may not be corrected, or something, some issue. So when promises can have only two things. Either it can be resolved or it can be rejected. If it is resolved, you will get the response. If it is rejected, you will not get the response, you will get an error. But you will get something. You'll get an error. Fine. So when you write a fetch, what do? You are to do an HTTP request to the backend, and subsequently to the database. For in our case, it is MongoDB. Correct. When you do the when a fetch is doing the HTTP request, it is returning as a promise. Promise that it promise function that it will execute. Once this promise is resolved, this fetch now is holding. This fetch now is holding your database. Datas, not database, datas. And then you can use this. Fine, then you can use this. Okay. And see here, what is promise? The promise object represents a eventual, eventual a completion or failure of asynchronous operation and its result value. When an asynchronous code, which is non-blocking code, is either completed or failed, those results are in promises. Right? What I told you about that same thing. Promise either get resolved or get rejected. Fancy name it is. Right? These are fancy name. Okay. See, I will sum up what I we have done. So one function can be written where we can make an HTTP request file, and it will go to the backend plus data. Fine. HTTP request, it is done, and it will return us your response. Now, this thing can be in two ways. Either it can be resolved immediately, or it will take time. So if it is immediately resolving, it is called synchronous function. And if it is taking time, it is called asynchronous function. Understood? Understood. Now, synchronous function immediately handling this can be handled normally. Nothing required. Nothing required. Fine. But to handle asynchronous code, because see, asynchronous code takes time. By that time, what should a JavaScript do? Because it is taking time. By that time, what should a JavaScript do? So what we do is that we, instead of not giving the data instant, we send him the promise. Okay, this function. Okay, we send him a promise. Fine. See, I have sent you the promise. If this promise is a result, I will give you the data. If this promise is not a result, I will give you an error. Fine. That's the thing over here. And these promises, how they are coming, because if you are using fetch over here, you'll automatically get the promises. But before that, before the fetch, it was not there. Before the fetch, it was not there. It was, you have to do everything. You have to write a callback function inside a callback function inside a callback function like this. Understood? What is fetch? What is promise? What is asynchronous functions? Callback hell. Kamal Khan, callback hell, or the pyramid of doom. Anybody has a doubt in promise and fetch, will write that. First you understand. Means what I say in very general term, first you try to feel. Yes, okay, these things are going, is happening. Yes, correct. If you are feeling it, then you can write it, and then you don't have to mug up anything. Automatically can see. Anyone has any doubt, guys, please ask me. Fetch is easier way to do the same thing what we were doing with what we do with the HTTP request, AJAX calls. Promises once again. Okay, promises once again. Please ask that out, guys. I just want to, because now after this JavaScript, we'll go to React. There only API calls you will do. Fine. Then you have to talk with the, then the project what we are doing. There also API calls we have to do. Everything now will be based on the data, what you are receiving, what you are getting, what you are sending. That's why I'm focused more over here. That please understand. And very good thing is that people in the interview are asking, what is promises? What is promisification? Promisification is nothing but to convert a normal function into promise. That's all. And only remember one thing: promise can either be resolved or rejected. Only two things it can be. Why we use fetch? That's the story I have told for around 1 hour. That was the story for 1 hour, Shivashri. Fetch actually is a good way or a readable way of calling an APIs. And if you want more explanation, I you can see this recording, because 1 hour I have explained. I have made the plot and I have explained why fetches we are using. Yes, after the fetch, two more ways it came. Not two more ways, one more way it came. Async await, async await. Over here, you can see async. function declaration creates a binding of a new async function to give a name. The await keyword is doing exactly the same. Await keyword permits the function enabling the cleaner behavior to write a cleaner style of avoiding needs of explicitly configure promises chain. Promise chain, see, as fetch also has one demerit. That demerit is solved by this. But in order to go to that demerit, we have to first understand how to write fetch. So that's why we are not going there. But async await is one step, what you call one solution for again whatever the problem with the fetch it is. Okay, that's all. But fetch is a very drastic change to how the JavaScript is being written, how the JavaScript APIs has been written. That's why the fetch is more important to understand than this thing, async function. Okay, promises once more. I think musical wives wants to know what is promises. Okay, promise. See, again, I'm telling, like if you are doing something like suppose a front end, okay, fine, you have submitting a form. Okay, you are submitting a form, right? So it will go to the backend and it will go to the backend and database, correct? Backend and database. So whole thing, this whole thing, when you are submission of form, the some form will go to the backend database. This whole thing will take time, and this submit will be written inside a function, will be written inside a function like this. Yes or no? Yes. Now this function will execute immediately. That also you know. But But this whole thing, what you have written, where an API call has been done, where it should get the data, that is going to take time. Whatever here you have written, this actually is going to get a time, going to get time. So what happened in order to function execute it immediately, what we are doing, we are sending them a promise. When an API call is fired, we are sending them a promise. Okay. Promise, I'm promising you, fine, that is promise. And I'm telling you the story that that promise is actually promising you that if the data is resolved, it will give you if the API is getting resolved or if the function is getting resolved, it will give you the data. If the function is getting rejected, it is all going to give you an error. In both the cases, it is going to return you something, either the data or the error response. Fine. In both of the thing, it is going to give you something. But not because I am giving an indication as a promise. Backend, actually, the API calls and whatever we are done, it is giving you an induction as a promise. Okay, you take this promise that I will execute it, but it will take time. By that time, you should not be sitting idle hoping for something. I am giving you the promise. Right? Just like, see, one example came to the mind. Okay, you have a very good shopkeeper, right? Where you every time buy something. Right? One day you went for that shopkeeper and you told, like, I want Ashirwad wheat. Correct. He said, I don't have, sir. I don't have, sir. So you tell, okay, when it will come. So he'll tell, sir, tomorrow promise, sir, it will come. Tomorrow promise, 9 o'clock you can take it from my shop. So he didn't disappoint you. What he does, he gave you the promise. Okay, sir, tomorrow 9 o'clock you come and take it. The same thing is being done here. Submit function, it is running, correct, but it is not executed. And executed, fine. It has now have a promise, which is going to get resolved. And this whole thing is going to done in the backend, sorry, not in the backend, sorry, in the base of JavaScript, not in where the JavaScript is executing those things. That understood? Still any doubts? Subhashri, Kamalkant, musical vibes, and those Om Tiwari, anything? Any doubt? Okay. Now let me tell you how JavaScript is working. Fine. I think little bit there also. If I throw a light, if I tell you about that, maybe that will also help you how the execution is happening. Because I'm telling you what is execution, what and those things. Okay, fine. So just let me show you something. Okay, and I have in the PPT. Let me show you something. Fine. Will not go into that deep. Fine. Can you see my screen, guys? Okay, fine. See, this is how a JavaScript engine looks like. Fine. This is how a JavaScript engine looks like. As you can see, for the Google, we have V8 engine. Okay. On the left side is called call stack. Right side we have what? Heap. Heap, which is storing a bigger database like arrays, objects, fine. Those kind of things are stored inside heap. Call stack is where the function are executed. Call stacks are what? Where the functions are executed. And each black color box or each gray color box is telling you that each are one function block. And those are executed inside call stack. Okay. Each and everything is inside call stack. Okay. See this compilation versus interpretation. At the end, we have written JIT. Okay. Okay. Same thing. So now this is the first thing what happens. Parsing, compilation, execution, and optimization. Right. We'll not go to the detail, but let me show you how everything is working. So this is what our browser is having. Right. This is what our browser is having. JavaScript engine, web APIs, and the callback queue. Okay. Web APIs, the functionality which is given by the browser to you, which is DOM, timers, fetch APIs, web APIs. These are the functionalities which browser has given you to use it. On the separate, we have JavaScript engine. And third, we have what? Callback queue. Callback queue means you understand? Whatever the callback functions are there, it will be here inside this queue. One by one, it is going to execute. Fine. See here, the execution I can show you. So now the call stack is empty. Correct. What happens? The click went means you click means you have written a function on the click. The click goes there. Fine. And it will execute. This execution, this click function execution is done is monitored by event loop. Is monitored by whom? Event loop. Okay. Now this is what execution context. Fine. Let me show you something once more. Fine. See here. What happened in the JavaScript engine? The execution context means you just know that is a function. For you, it is a function. Although it has so many things, fine. For you, just remember it is a function. Functions keep on piled up. Function keeps on piling up. Whatever the functions you have written, say like this, it is being stored. And one by one, execution happens. So I'm going to give you this example. On the left-hand side, I have one example for you. Let me show you how the call stack is actually working and how the execution is taking place. Fine. See here, just see the boxes. Compiled code start means compilation of the code has been done. Fine. Now execution will happen. Execution means running of a function will happen where it is going to give you the response. The same thing. Fine. Okay. Global execution, first of all, it is going to run. After global execution, fine. See, global execution is what? Const name is equal to WSA. That global execution have that value in it. Then I'm writing const first is equal to, now this is what a function. This is what a function. That function, and now I have over here at the end, we have called it. At the end, const x is equal to, we have called the function. It means now the function is going to run. The function is going to run. This first is what I've created an execution constant. Means this is going to pile up over here. Call stack. Again, it is now pointer moves up. You see, now the first will execute. First is executing. Meanwhile, you see over here, const b is equal to second 7, 8. It is written. So it called second function. It called here. See, let a is equal to 1, it has written, and then const b is equal to second. Call second with 7 and 9. So that it's written second. Now what happens? Second is going to execute. Now once second is executed, see it is going. Now return means what? Execution of function has been completed. If you are returning something from the function, execution of that function has completed. Now the second function completed. Second function completed. Now you see it will now it will go to the, see this const b now is getting a value from second function. Then function first one is going to execute, and at last global is going to execute. This is how function execution takes place. Function execution takes place. Now in this function, I will tell you the website also. Fine, from where you can visualize this. Okay. It is called JSV 9000. Right. Again, you see, we have call stack, we have micro task queue, we have task queue. This task queue is actually called as callback queue or macro task queue. We have event loop and we have function to execute. Fine. This website also you can visit. Okay. Again, if you see, we can choose an example of the call stack, and you can see run this, and you can go for step by step. First, second, third, fourth. See, in the call stack, everything is moving up 8, 9, 10. And then what it is doing, it is first function is being called, and then it will return. The 10th is going to return 9, 8, like this. The call stack is going to be empty. Now see the task queue. Task queue, in that callback queue, now whatever the callback functions you will write, now that functions will come. Right. So set timeout is a web API which is Again, set timeout is a function which is calling another function with some values. Correct. See, set function is written just like a function. Correct. It is again calling a different set of functions with some more values. Fine. See here, if I run this, step number one. Now it is going to task queue, not call stack, because this set timeout means after 1,000 seconds, please execute this function. It is what it is telling. After 1,000 millisecond means 1 second, you execute this function. So it is now in the task queue waiting for itself to finish the execution. Correct. To finish its execution. So task queue again B, C. Then D. D is not waiting for something. It's just a normal function, not a web API function as anything. So D directly executes over here. Then after that, C will come because it has 0 milliseconds. C will come, then B will come, then A will come from that queue and get executed. This is how the task is being executed. Okay, task queue holds whatever you are writing with the web APIs, like fetch, like fetch, like set timeout, clear, set interval, time interval, all those time, DOM, whatever you are writing, those kind of things. Next, if you see micro task queue. Now, what is micro task queue? If you see the code carefully, something it is written with fetch, promises, resolve, and reject. Correct. Now, if you run something, see it is written even an API, google.com or something. Fine. Fetch is a function which is calling another function, callback function. Now, what happened with the fetch with the where APIs, if you call and it is giving you the promises, those promises actually is going to the micro task queue. Now, what is the difference between micro task queue and task queue? Micro task queue have the highest priority. Means what I say is suppose one function is over here. Okay, one function is over here, that is function one, and one function is over here, that is function micro task one, function M1. Fine. Both of them, both of them result giving the response at means executing at the same time, means the responses of both the function is at the same time it came. But in order to show it to the customer or to the user, it has to execute inside the call stack. Here they are waiting for their queue because at a one time only in the call stack only one function can execute. They are waiting for them. So now both of them has waited for the time. Okay, waited for their time, and both of them completed their time at the same time, at the same interval. Okay, what do you think? Who will get to go first? Who will get to go first? That's where the priority comes in. Micro task queue will be always prioritized over any task queue or the call stack queue. Once it is done, this is going to come over here, function M1, and it is going to execute. Then this function will come. Then this function will come. After execution of this, then this function will come. That's the priority. That's why asynchronous, that's how an asynchronous async async functions are executed inside JavaScript. That's how it is done. Bouncer, guys, bouncer. This also bouncer. See here, I will show you. Okay, microtask queue B, microtask queue C. Fine. B executed, C executed, then A came. because first promise will execute, then fetch executed. Promises first give you the result, resolve or reject, whatever the result it is, it will give you the result. Then that other function will work, and then it will give you the result. Fine. If you ta if you now see, I have written one task queue function, which is web API, and I have written one promise. See how it is getting resolved. Run this. Okay, let me ask you something. Why it come into the task queue function A? Because of what? Web APIs. This came over here. This promises over here where it will go. See, micro task queue. Went to where? Micro task queue. Micro task queue was given the highest priority and it is executed. Whereas this task queue is still waiting for its turn. Now it is going to be executed. Fine. This is what we called as a JavaScript internal working. You can come to this website. You can write your own code, you can edit it, write your own code and see how the execution happens. Understood, guys? Is it a bouncer? Not able to understand anything? Done, Kamal Kant, revision done. That's what you wanted. Anybody else has a doubt? No, nobody's replying. I think I don't know what happened to them. Fine. Let's move on to the writing of the code with the fetch. Now you understand, no, guys, like how this fetch and everything is working, correct? Fine. So let me tell you that we are going to use a bootstrap because see again HTML CSS I don't want to write. Fine. Okay. So we are going to use a bootstrap. Bootstrap over here, in which I am going to write a card element, fine, and which is over here given by the bootstrap only. That thing only we are going to use it. Fine. Okay. So in order to use the bootstrap, we need this CSS and JavaScript link. Okay. If we are only using CSS, we need to use the CSS only over here. Okay. Fine. So let's write over here In the JavaScript, we are now going to talk about new folder and we are going to talk about asynchronous functions or fetch, I will write. So 0506, I guess. 06, we are going to talk about fetch. New file, index.html, correct? Over here, let's write like this. And we are going to talk about what? Fetch. Okay. The CDN link, guys. Fine. Let's take the CDN link out of here. CSS we are using. Okay. It means whatever the bootstrap, whatever the CSS they have written, it is given in a link. We can use that. So I will write over here title fetch. After that, I can write a style tag, sorry, link tag, link as style sheet. The reference over here, control B. You can give like this. Okay. In the body, what you can write is let's write a div container, div with class name of container over here. Okay. Because whatever the JavaScript we are going to write, we will put inside this. Fine. Okay. Let me show you. I'll write bootstrap component. Okay. Here in the bootstrap, you can just search for uh, cards. Fine. This card, can you see? This card is there. Okay. This card, okay, example card, and this C, CSS and everything is there. Copy. This just you copy, and over here, control V. You write. Right? When you go live, when you write a go live over here, see card is coming. Correct? Your card is coming. Fine. In this, what I want to do is that like okay, after this anchor tag, okay, this div I've written. After this, what div what I want to do? I want to write a button. Fine. I want to write a button. Now this button, again with the bootstrap CSS, just like tailwind, no? I can write the bootstrap also over here. Fine. So this is a type of a what? Button. Okay. Type of a button with a class over here, BTN. Fine. BTN info, button info, and display button. Fine. What I want to do is that you display the output or display output. What to display? What I want to display is that if you click on this particular button, I can show my country details, like what is the flag, any country details. I just want to show you that. Any country details. I just want to show you that with this button. Fine. And then after that, I'll write a script tag in which I will fetch the src. So over here, let's write a script tag. Script.js. Done. See here, done. Now see, what I want to do, when we click on this button, fine, this bootstrap, whatever I have written, it should be injected inside my container. So now I'm not writing over here. I need to be injected. It needs to be injected via JavaScript. Now, how we will do that, I will show you. But the whole thing, the whole card data with our data, it should be injected when I click on this particular button. Fine. Okay. Let's go to the script.jsx, guys. And over here, let container is equal to document dot query selector. Fine. I'll write what? Dot container. And let btn, let button document dot query selector. Fine. Display button. Fine. Now, what I want you to do, see, okay, what I want with this button is that if I click on this button, whatever the country name you have written or whatever the country name you will write, that country details means flag, name of the country, and continent. Okay, fine. These three things should be get visualized on my screen. Understood? Name of the whatever the name, India, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, Australia. It should be depend on whatever the name you are sending. We should not have to be selecting the what you call flags and everything by our own. It should only depend on whatever the name you are writing as a name. It can be any Greenland, Iceland, any country. So what we are going to do, we are going to take the help of a free API. Now what does this mean is that someone has written the backend, okay, and someone has also connected with that database. Someone has these things ready. What we have to do only, we have to call that API and take the response out of it. We have to request, fine, and we have to take the response. That's the two things we have to do. For that, we are going to use an API called as REST countries. Fine, REST, REST countries. Fine, REST countries API. This is what we call it. And this REST countries, see this again, this website over here, fine, they have their backend ready, they have their database, everything is there. Okay, they are telling me that if you want to search with the name, go for any of these three web APIs. If you want to search with the full name, go through this APIs, you will get the data. If you want to search through codes, you can go through that. If you want to go through currency, you can go through that. And so many things are there. But what we have to actually do, we have to just get the data of the country with that name only. Fine. So we will go with this. Fine. Now we have to test this API. Test this whether it is working or not. It is telling you, see, search by the country name. If you get the exact match, use the next endpoint. It can be common or official value. Means it is telling http restcountries.com /v3 dot one name, and over here name we have to write like India. Let's try that whether we are getting the data's output as in India or not. Right. So how to test it? In order to test it, guys, we have the postman. Fine. Where it is actually giving you what is the data in a response it will be giving you. Fine. Or easiest one of them is Thundercloud. Fine. Easiest one of them is what? Thundercloud. Over here, if you go to your marketplace or extensions and search for what? Thundercloud. Thundercloud. This you will get. What it is written? A lightweight REST API client extension for VS Code. REST API means REST API means getting the response out of APIs. Correct. So we are going to use Thunder client. Fine. Over here, I will get a Thunder client. New request. New request. Fine. Remove this. Control V. What it is given? Name. Instead of writing this, write India. Fine. Send it. Are you getting the data, guys? You see in which format I'm getting the data? Can you tell me the format in which format I'm getting? No, not this one. This is what? British Indian Ocean Territory. It's not India. If I minimize from here, I'm getting this. You see how we are getting the data? This thing only to check whether our API is working correct or not. Before even writing it inside the front end, just to check whether our API is working or not. Please try it, guys. Please try it and do let me know. It will take time, but please try it. Working, guys. So many people are not doing it. Fine. If you need this API, okay, fine. So now you see we are actually getting the data. This is called JSON format. Fine, but forget about the JSON format. You see, we are getting in an array two objects. In an array, we are getting what? Two objects we are getting. Fine. Now, as we have click on the send button, no, it has done a fetch request to this particular API, and then we are getting the data out of it. Correct. Let's use it inside our DOM. Let's use it inside our DOM, guys. Okay. So just 1 second, where I was writing the code. Sorry. Close this. Okay. So in this button, what I will write, button dot add event listener. What add event listener? Click property. CLICK. Click property. Fine. Comma. I'll write a function. Fine. What function? So add event listener is a function, and now it is when we'll click it, it is going to call a function. Let country. Fine. Let country is equal to prompt. Fine. Prompt. Enter the country name. Enter any country name. Enter what? Any country name. Fine. Then what I will write? I will write one function which is taking this country name and giving us an output. Fine. That I will write as a country data, and I will write that country. Fine. For now, let's take it as India. Okay. Let's take that as an India. So we have to write a function for that. So function country data. Fine. Function country data. What it is expecting? It is expecting country. What it is expecting? Country. Fine. After this, see how we have to write. We have to write a fetch request. This fetch request, backtick control V. And here you have to write dollar curly bracket name, not name, country. Country. Fine. Now this one is going to give you a promise. This is going to give you what? A promise. This fetch and whatever you have written, it is going to give you a promise. And promises are either resolved or rejected. Fine. So here also two things we will do. Two things. If I write that, then it means I'm going to handle the resolved data, and dot catch is going to handle the rejected data. Fine. Dot then is going to handle the rejected data, whereas dot then is going to handle the data, whatever the data it is going to come. Okay. Again, in this then method, we are going to write a callback function. Okay, we are going to write what? Our callback function. Now see over here. Response, we are writing a callback function, arrow function, and I'll write a console.log response. What does this happen? And similarly on the catch block, we are going to write an error. Okay, error, and console.error. Console.error, we can write error. Okay. See this response, it see this fetch when it is getting the data, when it is getting When the promise is resolved, that data will come over here, response. If it is rejected, that data will come over here in the error. This is handled internally by fetch. Otherwise, if we are doing the HTTP XML thing, that we have to do it manually. Now we don't have to do it. Okay. Now let's see. Inspect, console, display fetch, country name, India I will write, although it will not work now. Fine. Can you see what we are getting? We are getting a response. We are getting a response. Okay. Now the response is looking like this, guys. The response is looking like this. See, is it what our data looks like? No, no. See here, what response it is giving me? It is giving me a redirected status 200, okay, true, and everything. It's a type of, it's a actually how we write it in the backend. From backend, data is coming. Okay. But it is not in a readable format. Now it is not in the readable format. Now we are not getting the data what we were getting previously on Thunderbird. This is not the type of data. Okay. This is the response we are getting. This is the response we are getting. We are not getting the data. Now, whatever the response you are getting, fine, you return, you try to convert that response into a JSON format, means into a normal format data, into an object format data. Fine. What does this again? It will do, this again, it is going to return you a promise. If you want to convert a JSON format data into an object, again, it will take time. Yes or no, guys? Tell me. If you want to convert a JSON object data, JSON means see, please carefully look over here. JSON means you're writing everything inside double quotes. Everything inside double quotes. See, if I'm writing an array, you're writing like array, fine. Or you are writing object, fine. Over here, you'll write name like this. Name, Rohit, fine. Like this, you are going to write it. Close, close. This is what we call as a JSON. So this needs to be converted. This needs to be converted like this, not correct, where it is an array. Then it is name Rohit. Like this it needs to go. So this is a JSON format data which need to be converted into our object format data. Whatever we can see, readable, writable or readable string. Correct. This whole operation will take time. Yes or no, guys? Yes, it will take time. So if it is taking time, it means again you will get a promise. If it is taking time, it means again you get a promise. And how to handle the promise, guys? How to handle a promise? Using dot then method. Fine. Using what? Dot then method. So after this also, we'll write dot then method. Fine. Now over here, it is expecting our data. We are expecting our data over here. And then I will write console.log data. Console.log data over here. Now over here, we are getting the data. See now, display output. You write anything. Are you getting? Zero value, first value. First value is what? About India. flag India. First, you leave it. That is British, some another what you call country and all. This is what array first index value is our data. This data now it is coming. This data is coming. No? This data we want to use it inside our HTML. This data we need to use it inside our HTML. Fine. So what I will write, we need to inject this HTML inside our container. Fine. So for that also, let's write a function. Function, and this function is calling render means show HTML, which is expecting data. Which is expecting what? Data. Fine. I'll write let HTML is equal to backtick. I'll write this. Fine. Images SRC will be what? See, image SRC we can write link, correct? If you carefully look at this, okay, if you carefully look at the Thunder client also we have closed. Let me check. If you carefully look at this, fine. We will see India here somewhere about the flag. Just a second. See flag is written India, and see flag PNG is also given. SVG is also given. Anything you can use, anything you can use. So this will come. See, this whole thing I am sending as in data means what I will do, I will write over here. Then data console.log data I've written. I will write render HTML. Fine. Render HTML. And this rendering of HTML, what you should do, you should write data and you should write the first value. Data first value only I need. Let me write it again. Render HTML, data, and the first value. Fine. Okay. Now here, guys, here, what, see, I'm running that function render HTML. I'm running that function over here, render HTML. So console.log, see what I will get in the data over here. What I will get in the data over here. See, if I move display output, I write India over here. Okay, see, I'm getting this data. Script JS5, this data I'm getting, correct? So in the data, we have everything about India, but we have everything about India. So can I write India.flags? See, flags is what? An object. India.flags.png. India.flags.png. Can it show me the flag? Can it show me the flag? Yes. So see, this is how you have to write the data. Fine. This is the thing. So dollar curly bracket. Now you are getting all the data dot flags. Fine, because it is an object. This whatever we are receiving, it is an object. Data dot flags. In that flags also dot svg or png. If you remember, alternate was also there. If you go and check the database, whatever the data we are receiving, that So data dot flags dot alt. Fine. Now let's see whether it is showing on. So let HTML we have written. Now we have to insert this HTML between the container. So what I will write, container dot insert adjacent element. This whole HTML, whatever I have written, I will insert them as an element. Fine. Over here, before end means before ending of any particular element. Before that, we need to hand. And what data you need to send? HTML. Fine. For now, what I'm doing, I'm commenting out let country is equal to prompt because prompt we are not using it right now. You see, if I click on display output, okay, just a second. Container. Okay, sorry. Insert adjacent HTML it is. Fine. Before end HTML. Insert adjacent HTML it is. Okay. Fine. Now, am I getting the am I getting the flag of India? See, we didn't wrote the data. We didn't wrote anything. Whatever the data we are getting, we're just arranging them. We are just arranging them. See, if you go to the network also over here, here you see about India we have fetch. So in the headers, it is telling me what you request, your request URL, what you requested. In the response, what you got. Similarly, if I change over here, instead of India, what should I write? USA. Fine, USA. See here. Click on this. Uh, okay, sorry. I'll not get the data like this. Zeros value. Fine. Display output. See, flag of USA. Flag of user. See, same development, different data I can show. That's what the power of website. Same div element, different data I am able to show. Anybody else wants to what country other than India, USA? No country? No, not that. Not that musical wise. Anything else? Japan? Okay, fine. What we have to do? Click on display output. Japan. Correct. So we can do that. That's what I'm telling you. Right? That's what a fetch operation is helping us to do. Okay. Then over here, card title, inside this card title, I should write the name of the content. Right. So over here, data. Okay. What I will write, dollar curly bracket, data dot name. And if you see closely, it is written inside common. Data dot name dot common. So it is actually referring to what? The name of the country, Japan, right? Now here it is written a p text and it is telling you about something. So I'll remove this thing. I don't want this thing. Instead of this, I want to show them population. Fine. I want to show them about the population or yeah, or capital. Let's write the capital. So I'll write data. Capital is what? Data dot capital. See, I'm not writing on my own. If you see the database, fine, it is written. I'm not writing it on my own. Fine. And over here, anchor tag href is everything is just given. Now, instead of writing over here anything, I'll write backtick, not backtick, dollar curly bracket. I'll write Wikipedia page of every country. HTTPS colon double forward slash en dot wikipedia dot org forward slash wiki forward slash dollar curly bracket. I can write data dot name dot com. So it will search and tell me about. Okay, something wrong I've written. Correct. So it is HTTP encyclopedia, sorry, Wikipedia, organization wiki, and the whatever the name you are signing is that name you will get. Fine. Here you can also write dollar curly bracket and the same thing. Fine. Display output. See Japan. Japan, capital city Tokyo. Go Japan. If you click on the Japan, where it will go? It will go to the Japan's Wikipedia page. That's how the fetch of operation is working and helping us to get that. Okay, now over here, if I write India, see, but for India now there is one problem is that this is the second output. Fine. So over here I have to change it. I have to make it what? Data first index. Okay, not the zeroth index. So display output, see India, capital New Delhi, go India, it will go inside the Wikipedia page of India. Correct? Now see. Now I can give a prompt over here. Instead of this prompt, I can give a country. Okay. And make it zero. Fine. Now see. Display output, it is searching. You write Canada. Done. Now you see it takes a little time to come. What should I write next? Iceland. Okay. Now see one thing. I have written over here console.log fetch and this thing. Okay. Just to show you that see what it is showing? Promises. Promises. Now promise state either can be a response either can be fulfilled means accept fulfilled or rejected. So it is what fulfilled. The result over here is in this response. Fine. Response. That what response here you have get. That's the same response, whatever the promise result response you are getting over here, which I have written inside here. Response console.log response. Now, if you do something, some mistakes or something like that, maybe it will get rejected, or maybe it will not call that. Let's see. Fulfilled response. Okay, still it is giving you a response. If I remove, fine, green light. See, promise is pending, pending. It will not get resolved. It's pending state because I have a wrong API. See, it took time, so much time. Okay. What if I write some country name, fine, display output, country name. Okay. Okay. Now you see here, promises fulfilled. Again, it is fulfilled. Response. It should actually reject. See, message not found. Fulfilled, but it is giving you an error, message not found. Status 404 error. Okay. Understood, guys? This is all about your fetch thing. This is all about your fetch today. If you don't have any doubt, you can leave the session. Thank you guys for joining. If you have a doubt and if you understand something, please do let me know. Yeah, correct. Not change in the main fetch statement. It is outside the log. That's why fulfilled every time. Yes. Thank you guys for joining this session. Hope you have a great night, everyone. Result of the quiz, you will get it soon. What do you want to learn in tomorrow's class, Kamal? I'm thinking of starting React. Result, I think you have got it, I guess. After React. React, I think this whole week you can understand because Thursday is holiday, no? No, I will teach after React the project. The project I will teach. Thank you, thank you, thank you.